What if one of the greatest wonders of the ancient world never truly disappeared? For centuries, people believed the Lighthouse of Alexandria was gone forever, destroyed by earthquakes, swallowed by time, reduced to legends, drawings, and ancient stories. But deep beneath the waters of Alexandria's harbor, something was still waiting. Massive stone blocks, ancient architectural pieces, fragments of a structure so enormous that some of its stones weighed more than 70 tons. Recently, archaeologists raised 22 of these blocks from the seafloor, hoping to understand one of the most mysterious lost wonders in human history. This is the story of the Lighthouse of Alexandria, the lost wonder found underwater. More than 2,300 years ago, on the northern coast of Egypt, a city was rising beside the Mediterranean Sea. Its name was Alexandria. Founded by Alexander the Great, the city was created to become a center of power, knowledge, trade, and culture. Ships arrived from across the ancient world, carrying grain, gold, spices, soldiers, and scholars. But there was a problem. The coast near Alexandria could be dangerous. The shoreline was low, the waters were difficult to navigate, and hidden rocks could threaten ships approaching the harbor. So Alexandria needed something enormous, something that could guide sailors safely from far away. On the island of Pharos, just off the coast, ancient engineers built one of the most impressive structures ever created, the Lighthouse of Alexandria. Also known as the Pharos of Alexandria, it was built during the Ptolemaic period, around the 3rd century BC. For ancient sailors, this tower was more than a building. It was a signal of survival. Imagine crossing the dark Mediterranean Sea with no GPS, no engines, no radio, and no modern maps. Only the stars, the wind, and the waves. Then suddenly, in the distance, a giant tower rises above the horizon. At night, a fire burns at the top. During the day, the structure shines in the sunlight. That meant one thing: Alexandria was near. The Lighthouse of Alexandria became one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Some estimates suggest it may have stood over 100 meters tall, making it one of the tallest man-made structures of its time. It was believed to have several levels: a massive square base, a middle section often described as octagonal, and an upper tower where the beacon burned. Some ancient writers describe statues, ramps, chambers, and possibly a mirror system that reflected light across the sea. But because the lighthouse no longer stands, many details remain uncertain, and that is what makes it so mysterious. How exactly did it look? How did ancient builders lift stones that weighed dozens of tons? And how did a structure so powerful eventually vanish? The lighthouse was not only useful, it was a symbol. It told every ship approaching Egypt that Alexandria was powerful, advanced, and in control of the sea. It was the first thing many travelers saw when they arrived: a giant stone message rising above the water. For centuries, the Lighthouse of Alexandria survived. Empires changed, rulers changed, languages changed, but the tower remained. It watched over the Mediterranean as the ancient world transformed around it. But the lighthouse had one enemy it could not defeat: the Earth itself. Historical records suggest that a series of earthquakes damaged the lighthouse over many centuries. One earthquake weakened it, another damaged it further, and slowly the structure began to collapse. The tower that once guided thousands of ships started to fall apart. Stones crashed into the harbor, the upper levels disappeared, and the beacon that once shone across the sea went dark. By the 15th century, the skyline had changed forever. The citadel of Qaitbay was later built near the place where the lighthouse once stood. The ancient wonder was gone from the surface, but it was not completely gone. When the tower collapsed, many of its massive stones fell into the water around Alexandria. For hundreds of years, they remained there, covered by sand, surrounded by marine life, hidden beneath the waves. The lighthouse had not vanished, it had sunk. For generations, people knew the lighthouse had existed. They had ancient descriptions, they had drawings, they had coins showing a tall tower-like structure, but the real remains were difficult to study. Alexandria is not an empty archaeological site in the desert. It is a living city, full of modern buildings, roads, and people. And the remains of the lighthouse were not on land. They were underwater, scattered across the seafloor of the harbor. Underwater archaeology is extremely difficult. Visibility can be poor. Currents can move sediment. Ancient pieces can be buried, broken, or mixed with remains from other buildings. A stone block might belong to the lighthouse, or it might come from a temple, a palace, or another ancient structure. That is what makes the site such a massive puzzle. Which stones belong to the lighthouse? Where did they originally fit? And could the lost wonder ever be reconstructed? Not physically, perhaps, but digitally. That became the new possibility. In 2025, researchers connected to the Pharos Digital Reconstruction Project raised 22 massive blocks from the seabed of Alexandria's harbor. These were not small fragments. Some were enormous architectural elements, including doorway blocks and other carved pieces. Some reportedly weighed between 70 and 80 tons. To understand that scale, imagine a stone heavier than several fully loaded trucks. Now imagine ancient builders cutting it, transporting it, lifting it, and placing it into a tower more than 2,000 years ago. That is what makes this discovery so important. These blocks are not just stones, they are evidence. Evidence of ancient engineering, evidence of design, evidence of how the lighthouse may have been built. Once lifted from the water, the blocks can be scanned, studied, and compared with historical descriptions. Researchers can analyze their shape, dimensions, tool marks, and possible original position. Then, using digital technology, they can try to place each piece back into a virtual reconstruction of the lighthouse. Piece by piece, the lost wonder begins to rise again, not from stone, but from data. The Lighthouse of Alexandria was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and today, only one of those original wonders still exists in a recognizable form: the Great Pyramid of Giza. The others were destroyed, lost, or reduced to ruins, so every recovered block from the lighthouse matters. Each stone may answer a question. How tall was it really? What did the entrances look like? Was the design more Greek, Egyptian, or a mix of both? How did it survive for so many centuries? And how exactly did it collapse? The recent recovery does not solve every mystery, but it gives researchers something powerful: physical evidence. Because legends can exaggerate, ancient writers can be unclear, but stone remembers. A doorway block can reveal scale, a carved surface can reveal style, a broken edge can reveal damage, and a massive foundation piece can reveal engineering. The sea may have swallowed the lighthouse, but it also preserved part of its story. One of the biggest mysteries is what the Lighthouse of Alexandria actually looked like. We have ancient and medieval descriptions, but they do not always match perfectly. Some describe a 3-level tower. Others mention statues, ramps, and reflective systems. Ancient coins show images of a tall tower, but they are too small to reveal every detail. That means the lighthouse is famous, but still mysterious. Everyone knows it existed, but no one knows exactly how it looked. This is why the recovered blocks are so valuable. If a stone belonged to an entrance, it can reveal the size of the doorway. If a block has Egyptian-style design, it may suggest that the lighthouse was not just a Greek tower in Egypt. It may have been a fusion of cultures: Greek engineering, Egyptian symbolism, Mediterranean function. The lighthouse was not only built to guide ships, it was built to impress the world. There is something haunting about the Lighthouse of Alexandria. It was built to guide people through darkness. Then it disappeared into darkness itself. For centuries it stood above the sea. Then the sea took it, and now, piece by piece, it is coming back. Not as a burning tower, not as a monument on the skyline, but as a story being reconstructed from the ocean floor. The 22 recovered blocks are not just archaeological objects. They are pieces of a lost wonder. They remind us that the ancient world was far more advanced than many people imagine. Its engineers built massive structures. Its cities connected continents. Its monuments survived for centuries. And even when those monuments fell, they did not always disappear. Sometimes history sinks, sometimes it waits, and sometimes after more than 1,000 years, someone dives into the water and finds the pieces. Today, if you visit Alexandria, you will not see the ancient lighthouse standing above the harbor. You will not see its fire glowing in the night. You will not see sailors looking toward it as their final hope after a dangerous voyage. But beneath the water, the remains are still there, silent, broken, massive, and real. The Lighthouse of Alexandria was once one of the greatest wonders ever built. Then earthquakes destroyed it, the sea swallowed it, and history turned it into a legend. But now, with every recovered stone, every scan, and every digital reconstruction, the lost wonder is rising again, not from the sea, but from the mystery it left behind. So what do you think? Was the Lighthouse of Alexandria even more impressive than we imagine? And how many other lost wonders are still hidden beneath the ocean?